And also I want to remove the pressure from every man being the one, because I've done it and it's so annoying. So I'm making it more about me and how I'm showing up and how I'm interacting in these conversations and engaging in them.
Today's guest is a Palestinian content creator known for using her platform to explore culture, travel, and women's empowerment. Joining me on the podcast today is Haifa Beseisso.
For me, self-love, the deepest understanding of self-love is self-worth. I observe myself in different elements where, am I doing something to get attention or is this authentic? And asking that question is self-love. And nothing is more beautiful, I think, than sitting next to a woman who knows her value.
Well, firstly, do you feel the pressure of timelines? What advice do you have for people feeling that pressure?
First of all, I had to fall in love with the woman that I am. I had to fall in love with me. The other day I thought about it, it's if I'm gonna be walking down the aisle, I wanna be a whole person walking down the aisle, not half.
All right, balancers, I'm very excited to welcome the beautiful Haifa on the show today. Her energy is infectious, and I'm very grateful to have some time to be able to share you with the community today.
Thank you so much for having me, Erica. I'm very excited to be here today. Feeling very relaxed and very gifted to be with both of you. That's very special. I never had a podcast interview with two people interviewing me in one.
Well, hopefully it's not too intimidating. I think it's quite cute.
It's the cutest and the loveliest thing ever. It's a miracle. Thank you for showing up.
No, I appreciate you. We don't have a long time together today, so I'd love to really get straight into it. I want to know, because you're someone who is constantly growing, evolving, changing. What's something really significant that you've lost in the last few years, whether it be a person, a belief, a part of yourself, and what did it end up gifting you?
You really are quickly getting into it.
I love
it. Okay, I love it. So what did I lose? The first word I heard when you asked me that question was I lost some weight. But let me tell you about the weight that I lost. I lost some physical weight. When I look at my older pictures, I feel like I was a little bit inflated in inflammation. So I worked with a holistic coach. We did some detox. She found that my body was under a lot of stress. My organs were stressed inside. Looked great on the outside, but that's what was happening on the inside. So she gave me a protocol to follow and cut me off gluten, which is great. From the word gluten, glues in your tummy, I don't know, but it was great for me. Then I'm consistently working out, which is one of my biggest gifts ever. Honestly, it's so important to constantly work out. And I feel as Arab women, growing up as teenagers, movement was don't move too much, don't bend too much, don't wear this much. I just remember me and my friends in PE not taking it too seriously. I really did recognize that. Now I'm 34, and if I go to a class, it's big thing. I'm personally not used to it. I was more in covering, and not just physical, so much covering. So a bit of what I lost was the weight, and I think it was a deflation. But the other weight I was carrying weight of anger, also. Weight of pain, I would just say as anger. That was the word, honestly, to a big number of people, because of an attack I got years ago when I removed my scarf. But it's really deeper than that. It's beyond just the scarf that I removed, and people didn't like it. And everyone is in and many women's businesses a little bit more than men, which I'm happy for men, because it's a lot to deal with. And hopefully, we always say that, inshallah, this is changing. But for me, it was a journey back home. What does it mean to feel like I went through exile from people I adore and love, and felt like I really wanted to serve? What does it mean to go from serving and adoring to being attacked, to then being frustrated, holding a grudge, hating, being angry, and going around the world trying to find myself, which is not shameful. It's the most courageous thing I feel that anyone can do. And honestly, it took me 5 years to feel like the peace that I'm feeling. Because if you are not liking a certain group of people, whether they are the colonizers or they are the whatever it is, the aliens, the blah, 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 you name it. You don't like them, you judge them, you carry back this energy. Like if you only have grudge on one person or anger, you are the one who is suffering, killing yourself, like drinking from the own poison over and over again. Let alone if it was a nation or a people's or an ideology or a religion, it's gonna be so hard on your body. So for me, it was a much more intimate process. That's why I say it's beyond the hijab that I was wearing and beyond the attack. It was a journey of forgiveness.
Thank you for sharing that. What was the actual catalyst for you deciding to remove the scarf? Like, what was it, a moment in time for you? Was it a build up? Like, what actually sat behind that decision and why?
You know, that might be like an excellent question that's one day like worth sharing a little bit deeper about, because I think my journey is similar to many women's journey. And I think really the society is not ready for my answer, and that's not another battle that I want to take now. And for that, I respect myself, I respect them, I respect to hold the privacy of my decision and the whys. I do have different conversations that I meet with women where they open up to me and I'm just like listening. I'm not here to perhaps change the decision of the women that I meet or the women in our surrounding, because then I'm being a part of changing a woman's choice. And I myself was a hijabi for 15 years and many people didn't like it. Either when I wanted to work or comments, or people wanted to cry because I'm covering my curls. And when I removed it and some people didn't like that I removed it, I got to face both, hey, I don't want what you're doing. And it's a lot to deal with as a woman. We already deal with a lot of like hormonal changes, like, you know, we get our periods, like it gets tough and we're emotional and we're trying to live this life and reach our dreams and have boundaries and the men we meet, like it's a journey. And I have so much respect. So I don't want to be a part of the adding to a woman's confusion. Let her have her journey and her own reflection. I went around the world. What I could tell you is that it was a result of like so much reflection and still with respect. But there was deep reflection that one day, maybe I will share, but today's not the day.
That's fine. I fully respect that. I think in general, like as from a high level, the anchoring in the right for yourself or owning your own decisions for yourself personally, I think isn't, like I said, speaks volumes enough, you know, and it really doesn't matter to me or to other people, the rationale behind it. It's that you decided to step into something that felt right for you. I know one thing you love talking about is self-love. And I can imagine this forms a part of self-love as well. But talk to me about how that concept for you has shifted over the years.
I knew today was going to be so beautiful. I feel like I'm sitting on a cloud or walking in some, I don't know, body shop thing, spraying beautiful perfume. Thank you, sister. Actually, like, with my journey, it was the understanding of the word self-love. For me, self-love, the deepest understanding of self-love is self-worth. Actually, it's self-worth. Self-love is the extra, like, oh, cute little, I think, superficial level. There are roots behind it of being worthy, doing work there to clean and clear that. As a child, as a kid, do you feel worthy of taking space in this classroom to share your opinion, to put your hand up? How do you feel sitting next to everyone? Do you feel loved from your parents, or you feel someone else's parent loves them more? What stories did you tell yourself? What imagination as a kid grew within you that stay with us till we grow up? The real work is to go at, you are like a flower, to go at all the petals and go really deep within the stem of that flower that takes water from the roots of the ground and clear that, and know that you deserve to take water from the ground, that you deserve it. Self-love is much deeper. It's beyond the spas. I was at certain points offered like the best of the best business class tickets. Oh, as a favor, I'll take you to best hotels. But was I allowing myself to live? I had a lot of guilt, different types of guilt. One of the guilt is because I'm from Gaza. My people are dying. How am I living in this big suite? And I need to shoot it and flex. It was different. I'm giving you one example of different things where I didn't allow myself to live life or had confusion instead of just receiving. When you talk about self-love for women, the feminine, the energy, of the feminine energy is simply to receive the gifts of life. And God wants us to receive, to taste, whether it's a moment, whether it's I'm enjoying that I'm sitting with my family, enjoying the safety, enjoying myself as a woman, enjoying my body. And that's what I would say. When culture comes to make us feel that any part of us is shameful, goes against that. That's what I'll speak up against. If you as a culture keep getting in every woman's business, what she's wearing, how she's moving, what she's doing, you are interfering in her God inherent right of enjoying this life. If you let her be, she will not have the rebel energy. She will just be, just like a flower. You love her, witness, observe. So that's for me what self-love is. It's allowing myself, feeling it in my veins, feeling the love of myself. I don't need to necessarily keep proving to you. And it's also having compassion for myself. I observe myself in different elements where, am I doing something to get attention or is this authentic? And asking that question is self-love. And I'm proud of myself, and it's very hard to look at myself in the mirror. But because I want to grow into being a woman, self-love for me is definitely freeing myself from all the doctrines, is that a word?
Yeah.
That the society has over what a woman is and should be. Every culture is different, every experience is different, but from what I was told, I had fear of even, I hated being a girl. I'm like, that is so much work, bro. Like, it hurts. Everything I do is a sin. Like, why am I alive? إنه خلاص يعني. It's too much. So to free myself from this and still freeing doesn't mean I want to rebel like crazy, because I actually choose my peace. But it goes deep. If you keep telling a girl everything she does is a sin, or a guy, she will start believing her existence is a sin, and it will overlap. So the journey of again, freeing, feeling loving, and nothing is more beautiful, I think, than sitting next to a woman who knows her value, her worth, who breathes it. And it's okay, it comes with age. That's what I hear from all my friends who are in their 40s and their 50s. That's why I'm not like too scared about growing up, because it's like growing into me.
It's gonna get better.
We always think self-care needs to be this big planned thing, but honestly, sometimes it's just 5 minutes doing something you love, something that makes you feel present. For me, that's with a spoon in a tub of London dairy ice cream. One quiet scoop, and suddenly the chaos just feels a little more manageable. You don't need an hour to reset. You just need a moment that's yours. So if no one's told you today, take that moment, because you're allowed to.
How important do you think this is, right? This self-acceptance, this sitting with yourself, this deep take on self-love. How important is that when it comes to dating and looking for a partner?
I love how you ask your questions. It's like the smoothest transition ever. What I'm learning, and I keep learning, is especially like this section, what I will share now might be very different by the time you post it, because especially in relations to men, I really learn a lot about myself and about our connections with every interaction that I have. But today, what I know, I feel like it's the sexiest thing with a man when he sits with a woman who knows her value, trusts herself, actually speaks her truth. I found that a lot of women, because of what maybe some of us have went through, especially if there's like physical molestation or places she didn't feel safe growing up, to say no and say your honest opinion or feeling and open up and be vulnerable gets harder with men, and like we could go into freeze, and just the dynamic then keeps getting confusing. So my biggest form of worthiness right now with men is to share my honest opinion with them about who I am and what I'm looking for and how I want to live my life soon. Like, I've had experiences where I literally did an experiment where I'm like, I'm just going to close my mouth right now and just go with the flow and let him fully lead. I'll just do an experiment. Maybe nothing is working out because I keep sharing my opinion. Maybe I'm too much. I don't know what's up. So let me just try and do something completely differently. And I just went on an experience where I'm like, whatever he wants. Okay. He wants to go there. Okay. These are the topics he wants to talk about. Great. Let's sing. Okay, there was maybe a bit of me, but mainly I went with his lead. And then later, after like a few months, I was like, wait, that's not me. There's a lot of stuff that is not me. So then I shared with the person where honestly I am and what I desire. And I really learned from that experience that actually I do me a favor if I know myself and share my thoughts in a timely manner. Not necessarily
First date.
Yeah, because then I went to the next extreme of boom, 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 shaking. Everything's so quick. I'm like, okay, if I relax, I think we need to come to the middle. And that sometimes happens with change or experimentation. We go from one side of the spectrum to the other until we learn and find the middle point. So now I just simply share with men where I am, and I also don't feel like I owe them anything. And having a lot of self-love and self-respect, even with my body and how I sit, and containing myself, where I'm myself, but I'm containing myself. And the more I am in my own body and respect, actually, my intuition gets stronger. I can tune into my energy and tune into his and understand what's happening with him. Because a lot of men don't know how to word their emotions, right? And even if you're like, you can open up to me and feel safe, they just don't know. They're not used to it. They're like, but I don't know what's happening per se. Maybe some do. So instead of fighting that or really needing him to like say, like how to avoid the friction, then I'm just in my body and I'll listen to my intuition and know what's up. So that's what's happening recently.
I think it's what you've just shared is not limited to dating, right? If you are not authentically yourself, right? And like you said, it doesn't mean you have to share every single part of yourself straight away. In general, right? If you're not living in alignment with who you are and what's aligned for you, then what you're going to bring into your life, whether that's through work, through friendships, through opportunities, through men, relationships, they're going to align with a part of you that you've shown, which might not be the full you, right? And so I think it's really important to constantly have these check-ins with yourself. And equally, the experiences that don't work out, or that you think, oh, I wasn't my full self, or this person was, this was a little bit too extreme of an experiment. Or, those are important because they also teach you what you don't want, and they teach you something about yourself. So those are also very important. But it's the key part is the awareness piece, right? It's the checking in with yourself, and that's the self-love. And I love that you've boxed it in this way, because I've spoken many over the years I've had the show. Self-love is a topic that always comes up, and I'm a big advocate of, it's not the bath you have at the end of every day, the spa you book in. It's the way you speak to yourself. You can do all those things and have a miserable existence and be so disassociated from who you are and what you want, and be living a life that doesn't feel aligned for you, because these things in isolation are material and they're surface level. But if you do the deep work, those things, of course, are really beautiful to indulge in and enjoy, but it's not the essence of loving yourself. So I love that you've shared that. And I don't know if you remember, a few months ago, we were at an event together, and you told me about the man that's going to be the one for you.
I did?
You did. You explained his energy to me. And I don't forget that. And I can't wait to meet him.
Wait, what did I say? Do you remember?
You're talking about him being very grounded, and I know you want to have a family, and so you were just sort of painting this very grounded picture. And I think you said something about eyes, like him having certain type of eyes that would capture you. So I'm excited to meet him when he comes along. But I want to ask you something, because I mean, I've been with my husband for 10 years, and so dating and being single is a little bit in my past, and I have to admit it's not something I speak about a lot on the show, but there are a lot of people that listen that are single. And I wanted to ask you, how do you navigate? Well, firstly, do you feel the pressure of like timelines, you know, like women on a clock, that there's a lot in society that compounds into that, where we put it on ourselves. Do you feel that? And either way, what advice do you have for people feeling that pressure?
To be honest, for some reason, I never felt the pressure from the society, you know, as much. It was more like within me. Like I thought like the first person I met in uni would be the person I would marry. I just didn't think it would take me what felt like that long to meet somebody. So it's more like that.
So you mean you put the pressure on yourself?
Yeah, and I'm like shocked, and I'm like, especially, you know, in the spiritual world, and they're like, oh, there's something about you, you're not attracting someone, like something is off. I'm like, does that mean everyone who has a partner is like completely perfect? Like I feel like I'm cool. Like what is it? Is it me again? Like is it me? Is it Dubai? Is it where I go out? Is it who I hang out with, or the places I go to? I think a lot of women ask themselves this question. Yeah. What was the other question about being single?
Like what advice would you give to people who are feeling the pressure of the timeline? But I just want to say, based on what you just shared, that's interesting, like the thoughts you've just shared that you've had. It's like women put themselves in this position where they're like, I'm the problem, rather than being like, you know, everything's got its own time.
Yeah.
But it's like, how do you surrender to that when there's pressures?
Yeah. No, I love that you brought it back to that, because actually I'm so grateful I didn't meet anyone yet. Like where I am in my life now, like today, I feel like there's so much growth and expansion in my own heart that, first of all, I had to fall in love with the woman that I am. I had to fall in love with me. Like the other day I thought about it, it's like, if I'm going to be walking down the aisle, I want to be a whole person walking down the aisle, not half.
Yeah,
and
so
I don't want to walk
1 + 1 = 2, not half and half = 1.
Totally. And I don't, that thing, and I didn't want to walk into a man to save me. I had to save me over and over and over again, and fall in love with me so much. So the love and the quality of love I share with that man is just divine and beautiful. And I'm very actually dedicated to like my future family, like to the mother I want to be, to the wife I want to be. And that's why I'm very happy and excited to be doing the work that I am. And I'm sure he's awesome. If I had to do all that work on myself, is awesome. But I had to remember my standards, by the way. That's one thing that happens when you're single. Because my mom used to make complaints like, oh, mama, did you meet anyone? Yeah, no, I don't like him, blah, blah, blah. And she's like, Haifa, stop. You're so picky. Like, you must be the problem. Like, what do you want? You're so picky. So then I actually started lowering what I want more and more and giving chances. And I kept getting run over. And I felt it's like the moment that I will settle from the energy that I want. It's not necessarily the car that he's driving. It's not that. It's not a superficial thing. It's how he's showing up for himself and his life. Mm-hmm. It's the quality of man he is, and the quality of genuine work that he did on himself. How much did you do to truly walk a path and purify yourself as much as you can, so we together can vibrate on a beautiful path and divinity. And I do have an intention to do something beautiful for the world with my partner. So to have that standard of someone who cares about the world for me is a huge filter. And even that I try to you wave off, but no. That's my passion, my prayer, my intention. And even if I do it alone, it's fine, because I found that if I meet a man, I was still in that place where I go fully to him. Even, okay, I'll change all my schedule to see you. And God's like, not yet. We brought you for a reason. Me, you, everybody. hold your path before we bring someone where together you can work and do something deep. That's my intention as an Arab woman, as a woman from Palestine, as a woman from Gaza, as a woman from that region. The people that I know, I wish to give my resources, my breath, my time, my skin, who I am, for something good. And partnership and love and heart is everything. And I live from my heart. If I meet one person and it's a shitty date and he's blocked and it takes me down. I live from my heart. And then I have to put a lot of energy to get myself back up. So I'm going to protect our heart with integrity.
When you reflect on who you are today and all the work you've done, you're, in my view, in the way I see things, in the way I appreciate things, you're a high value woman because you have an awareness about you. You speak with intention and from your heart. And so for you to then want that from a partner, it took you actually doing that for yourself.
Yeah, totally.
To then have that standard for someone else. Last kind of question. For people who are in that process, right? I mean, we're working on ourselves for life, right?
Always.
And that's exciting to me. I'm going to get to know myself at so many different phases of my life. But, you know, for people in this current phase where, like, you know, you briefly said you didn't want to, you're glad you didn't meet someone earlier because you were still getting to know yourself. How do you fight that kind of battle of, or maybe I'll start dating, but then you find you run into the wrong people? Like, how do you hold the vision and stay with yourself and your heart? How do you know when it's time to open up?
Actually, again, that's such a beautiful question. Very recently, what I'm doing is I would be open to meet people. Even I have that energy and feeling of my husband, right? It's in my heart. But I would meet someone because I'm practicing. Like, how am I showing up in that date? How am I sitting? I'm tweaking. Like, am I actually implementing? So, and also I want to remove the pressure from every man being the one, because it's so, I've done it and it's so annoying, you know, and it puts the woman, the energy can be felt, and it's like it just puts the woman in desperate, and I'm like, are you the one? Like, come on, how can we know? So I'm making it more about me and how I'm showing up and how I'm interacting in these conversations and engaging in them. So it's more my self-practice, so it's not too, the energy is not too stiff. And then I will just be honest, like from that experience where I did this experiment of, actually, I'm from the school now. Like, it's crazy that the more I grow, the more I'm like traditional. I will ask the questions. Even if he doesn't, I will ask, what are you looking for? That's what I'm looking for. I've done some incredible communication retreats around the world, so many. And actually, if you ever have a attraction from men, they advise you from the beginning to set intentions on the table. Boundaries, are you in a relationship or no? Some people don't even tell you till later that they're married. In this school, they're like from the beginning. And this school, they're not even like that religious or traditional, no. But it's just ethical to like be clear. Yeah, sometimes you want to get to know someone, then speak of it like a friendship. Don't call it a date. Don't open the door of intimacy if you cannot be intimate with your words and questions too. Then, if you don't want to open up, go play bowling and just say, hey, friends, yalla, let's all gather. If you just want to test the water from afar, but you want to open an intimate door, and especially make a physical move on a woman, which I hope men would just ask for permission before, because you never know what the woman went through. Just ask. Can I hold your hand? Can I do that? Just ask. It's really beautiful and makes a woman feel very respected. So what I find these days is men are running to like kiss or like touch, but won't even have a conversation. So we both need to ground. We both need to say, shway, shway, take a deep breath. I know we all want love. Let's learn. I don't blame men anymore. You know what I'm not blaming anybody anymore. I just observe and realize we need an ecosystem of learning. We need to relax. But everybody wants to just chase the dollars and like busy making money, which is great. But we need to go back to class. Like growing up, I used to study once a week and volunteer and teach kids once a week. We need weekly coming together. In tribes, they sit with the elders around the fire very regularly. So when the youth, they sit with the energy of the elders, they learn, they get the download of men, of masculine from them. They do rites of passage. So, yeah.
Yeah, that human vulnerability is very key, especially in the early phases of getting to know anyone, even in a friendship, right? And I've experienced that moving here with no friends and having to make friends from scratch. So in a very similar way, you have to find the right balance between being vulnerable. But when it comes to dating and relationships, it's different because you have that intimacy level. So I think everything you've shared is beautiful reflection for people to think about, especially when they are looking for someone to share their life with. It's not a light decision, and it's not one you should settle on.
Yeah.
Haifa, I think we're going to have to do another round 2 because we've run out of time for today.
Which is nice. I like this round 2.
A part
maybe
2.
With the baby.
Yeah. So
maybe
guys,
I'll have updates by then.
yeah. So, I mean, drop comments if there's anything you want me to ask Haifa next time, topics you want us to go further into. But I want to thank you for your heart, your energy, and for just sharing space with me today. I value you, and I'm really grateful that our paths cross. So thank you.
Oh, me too. Thank you so much. And I'm super grateful to everyone listening as well. Thank you so much for being a beautiful, I've interviewed or been interviewed by many people, but you really have a way to like just touch the heart with every question and just by your energy and sitting here. So thank you. I had a great time, really.
Thank you.
I can't wait for part 2.
Thanks, Haifa.